All right, just going to give my quick thoughts on the market here. Right now, as it stands, the Russell 2000 is 1% away from making an all time high. And I think there's a very critical distinction to make between all time high and getting into a new level. Whereas right now, we're still within the range of fighting this. And by my assumption, if this thing busts into a full leg higher, then all bets are off. And all that this has been is a massive bits of fear before the massive bits of greed. I think if we were to get rejected here, then any sort of like bearish structure showing up for cryptocurrency, whether it's Solana, Bitcoin, Ethereum, I think are completely valid. However, the one thing I would like to point out is if we were right here at a double top, right? If we were at this same range, this is the same one in 2024, this is the same level in 2021. Okay, if we're at the top of the range, which is going to be the largest level of resistance, and the crowd was coming out right now, and the crowd was euphoric right here, I would be concerned. Okay, but they are not. They are very skittish. They are very scared. And to me, it has a classic stipulations for a disbelief rally. And when we zoom out just on the daily or even the 5 hour chart, even on crypto, right now, obviously, I'm looking at the Russell 2000, no structure has been broken. And so, right now, when we're sitting at this critical, the biggest resistance point in history for the Russell 2000, one of two things is going to happen. In my opinion, we're either going to break out of here, and that would invalidate every sort of bearish sentiment, every sort of bearish structure or TA in the markets, or we're going to get rejected here, and that would validate all of the bearish sentiment because if the Russell pulls back, crypto is going to pull back as well. But again, the fact that retail is sitting here at typically what I see is you see them at the 702 and at the previous all time high. That is your most bullish sentiment. But the fact that retail is sitting here and not extremely bullish and not, buy the dip, extremely pessimistic, to me, my bias is that we're going to break above. I think getting a daily body close about 2,500 before Friday, which would be the weekly close, I think that would be enough to validate a breakout. And if we don't get that, then we'll see. But I think that would be enough. And I'm going to try to move this video as far as my analysis goes in order of importance. So right now, to me, that is the most important thing is the Russell 2000. And then beyond that is going to be, obviously, we're in the Ethereum and Solana trades. So now trying to analyze that. And I think it starts right here with the same structure that Bitcoin gave us in 2013 with our big rise up, marked down, going into accumulation for Ethereum. So this is Bitcoin from 2013 through 2017. This is Ethereum from 2021 through present day. And then you have your accumulation, your sign of strength, backtest, reaccumulation. And this is kind of what I joke about because I see all kind of people saying about head and shoulders, head and shoulders, head and shoulders. And people are saying that now about Bitcoin too, by the way. And to me, it's just like it's the most invalidated pattern that exists. But I just drew this here just to be funny, just to show like, oh, there's a shoulder, there's your head, there's your shoulder. Oh, we're supposed to go down. And then boom, you ripped to the upside. But I do think it's important because it's the same thing as the Russell. It's the same thing as, Ethereum. It's the same thing for Solana on the market cap. It's very common to get your multiple points of rejection off of your all-time high. And I'm looking at Ethereum on the 3 day so you can see the whole picture. But if I zoom in a little bit, you can see rejection, rejection, rejection off of the all-time high over here in 2021. So to me, the stipulation is there, and as long as this structure holds, and we don't put in like a macro lower low, or we don't lose this big macro uptrend that we've been having with higher lows this entire time, higher low, higher low, higher low. To me, this is the structure that's playing out. And again, going back to the most important thing is the Russell going to actually break out or not? That to me is going to be the answer of what Ethereum, what Solana, and even what Bitcoin is going to be doing. As for Bitcoin, to me, still just ranging here in between the same range that we've been holding for a while now. And we're on top of all of this. This is, I'm on the daily chart here. There's a lot of support over here. We've been in this structure for about 80 days now. And this is 200 plus days of support over here. We're on top of the 100 moving average. So to me, I would love to see a higher low for Bitcoin. To me, that would be your mark of a reversal to get to the top of the range. And like I talked about last time, I don't really see a scenario where we lose this and that's fine. You know what I mean? That would be something different at play entirely. And you could make an argument that something different is at play because we did have a dead cat bounce to the 618. If we were then to go and lose the 200, then that would be something different entirely. But I don't think that that's going to happen. I think that we're going to put in a higher low, if not already. Like I said yesterday, this is the most oversold that we've been. So on the 5-hour chart, which is a pretty significant time frame to reference, this is the most oversold that we've been. You can see since not even April, right? So not even the April lows, not even the August lows over here. We have not been this oversold, yes, since the April lows over here. Okay, this is a big time frame. Now, some people in my live stream, I pointed this out yesterday, and they said that oversold my butt, blah blah blah. And, to that I would say this is a prerequisite to a bottom, not necessarily an indicator that the bottom is in. This is a prerequisite of things that we look for. But we have gotten across to the upside, which is a good sign. To me, getting back above 114,000 would be good. That would be probably confirmation that this was just a higher low here. As far as Ethereum goes, same thing. Most oversold since the April lows, and we're about to get across to the upside. Which I think is a good thing here. And again, getting back above 4,400 would be good because, right now you could say that we have lost this 200, but I think you have to view it with discretion because it is not so black and white as that, because many times you will, quote, lose it, but I always view it as a Allen Iverson fake out, as a Barry Sanders juke move. I like to use a little bit of discretion and give it a little bit of grace before actually determining it. I would say if we, daily body lose this, 4,000 range, then we could have a different conversation. But again, same thing. Like if we were to, say 3,800 would be the line in the sand for me for Ethereum. Something different is at play. That means we're losing this macro structure. And I don't see a scenario where you just lose the structure of your higher low structure and higher high structure. You break this downtrend here, and then it's just off to Lambo land. I don't see a scenario where that plays out. So that would mean that something is different at play. I don't think that that's where we're at. I still think we're on top of plenty of support over here, and even when you zoom out even more support over here for Ethereum. So I'm anticipating a bounce, especially when you factor in this is the most oversold that we've been since the April spring of 2025. And again, like oversold on RSI does not equal a bottom, but it is a prerequisite to a bottoming structure. Okay, I do like that we not only were we oversold, but it was so oversold that it was literally red, and we're crossing to the upside. And the last time that happened was over here June, which of course we know that Ethereum was at 2100. This is when it fell from 2800 all the way to 2100, had to cross the upside, and immediately went on to do a 44% move in a matter of 83%, excuse me, in a matter of 185-hour candles. I don't even know what the days is on that. And all the same things are true for Solana. In my opinion, this is within, obviously we got caught in the middle of that massive liquidation move that, I didn't foresee happening. But this is within the same range of this same structure that we've been having. And again, if we lose this structure, I don't think we can have our cake and eat it. I don't think that there's a scenario where we lose this and, we go down here and we just take out this low over here and then it's off to Neverland. I don't see that happening. To me, that would mean something different is at play here. And I don't think something different is at play, especially knowing where the Russell 2000 is. That's why I started from the Russell 2000 onto Bitcoin, onto Ethereum, because that is the order of importance to me. Again, looking at the 5 hour, we're slightly below the 200. But again, I view that with discretion because we can see through this entire trend here, many times we got below the 200 here. We got below it here. That was still here. So it happens all the time, but we're within the margin that I'm looking for. For Solana, to me, we're getting pretty close to the line in the sand. I would like to see and expect to see at least a dead cat bounce from here. If we start losing 200, that's when things get a little bit dicey to me. And that would mean that something kind of is different at play here. And again, just looking at the Russell, looking at where Bitcoin is, wake me up when September ends. Wake me up when Bitcoin loses the range. Wake me up when Ethereum loses the range. And then you have my attention. But until that stuff happens, to me, this was, just from a sentiment standpoint, a big liquidity grab to shake any hope. All hope is lost. The beatings will continue until morale is improved. That's just kind of what it is. And the last thing that I'm going to talk about, because I think it's relevant and sort of part of the pain that we've been feeling with Solana is, Bitcoin dominance to me has topped, right? This is topped. But just because it's topped doesn't mean that you're just going to fall in a straight line. And to me, that's kind of what we had, was a bit of a dead cat bounce here. And we got to the 200, which is a bit more, again, we could get slightly above it. That's fine. But this, to me, is going to be resistance for Bitcoin dominance. And we're pretty hot on the 5 hour, too. Like, 5 hour is not a small time frame. And, my specialty and what I am better at is 5 hour and above. Okay, I shouldn't even be... as far as serving everyone, I shouldn't really even be doing real analysis, below the 1 hour. So that's not what I'm going to do. But 5 hour being overbought here on Bitcoin dominance, I think is a good thing. And what I anticipate is a rejection and a continuation of a lower low.